big sugar. What, if anything, you can do to kind of address that issue to protect, the water in South Florida?
Yeah, definitely. So I have the support of Vote Water, which is with Bull Sugar, and they're an anti-bit sugar group.
Okay.
So a lot of people got admit stuff about, they're like, bit sugar. I'm like, no.
What you doing?
I had to think about changing that on my website too, so people didn't get confused.
Yeah, because that's not progressive.
Absolutely not. What bit sugar is essentially doing, and it's not just bit sugar, it's utilities and industry and agriculture, like FPL, like other groups, including agricultural groups that think that they own the water and they own all of the land in the state.
My light bill has doubled since COVID happened. Like, what's FPL doing? They know we're not working. Like, can they help us out a little bit? Like, what's happening?
They certainly poison the water, and what they're doing is they think that they own the water and they can use it however they want. And one of the things FPL tried to do, I think just last year, was they tried to inject their wastewater under our freshwater aquifer down in Miami. They tried to literally inject that under the Biscayne aquifer. Now, to remind you, Biscayne aquifer provides water to over 8 million people in both Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and Monroe County, and maybe a few others, and I think the Keys as well. And essentially what they were saying is, we don't care that this is the drinking water supply. We think this is safe. We're going to inject this wastewater under the freshwater aquifer that provides water to people. Now, imagine if that leaked into our water source. It will have catastrophic consequences for all of us, for our drinking water and for our environment, as well as our state. We live on porous limestone. Our state is sitting on porous limestone. And what we are facing with when we're going to talk about acid rain and all of these next generation things that we're going to be faced with at the same time. But the biggest challenge is making sure that these industries know that they don't own the water, and that, okay, we're fine. We get that you want to operate a business. We get that it's important that we have energy for all of the consumers, all of our residents, and food and all of those good things, and sugar. We all like sugar. But at the same time, we do not want we don't want to poison our water. And that's on the industry side. What Bit Sugar is doing is their toxic runoff. And what we're seeing as a result of that is, and we're in that season again, with red tide, blue-green algae in our waters, where it isn't just because the water looks bad. A lot of people say, this is not serious. It just makes the water look bad. It's killing fish.
Yeah, it's killing animals.
And as a result of killing fish, it's also devastating communities that rely on fishing. So there are people who live around Lake Okeechobee, who've lived there for decades, whose family are based out of that area, and who have businesses. And they go out, they're fishermen, they go out catch fish, they go sell that fish, they feed their families with that fish. That's their job. And that's what they do for a living. And as a result of what Bit Sugar is doing, they can't do that. So they're forced to either move away, be devastated economically, be devastated financially, because an industry in our state thinks it's okay to do what they want to do. And they spend a lot of money on politicians in our state who they can push around and try to stop any regulation of what they're doing. So, I've said it loud and clear to any company, including Bit Sugar, that if you can't respect our state's waterways, if you can't respect our water, then go find another state. There are a lot of other companies that probably want to come to Florida for our workforce and our consumers. And look, if you don't want to listen, we need to find ways to look at ways to do things like eminent domain. We need to kick you out of the state. Some people said that's a little step too far, but maybe we could do that if it gets too out of control. Go find another state to pollute. We don't want you here. But if you're going to be here and you're going to
behave, right? We should just, get them to behave and, make them pay if they don't, So
large fines. And I proposed one of the largest fines ever on these institutions, and it will probably never pass. And I even thought it was a little really strict. I said for every, I forget exactly how I measured this, but I said fines of about $5 million. And then I changed my mind and said about 5% of their revenue every season. And that increases by 2%. So 5% of your revenue goes to the state every single season so that we can clean up what you're doing, and then you can help us clean up in that process, but we get paid back for that. So 5% of U.S. sugar companies' revenue. If we did that and we took 5% of their money, they would be like, okay, you know what? We need to get our act together.
And I'm glad you